place to be, where art, life, and spirituality connects you and me. Science of mind and spirit, the foundation we teach and live. Love, joy, and belonging are the gifts we have to give. Our consciousness, our being, open at the bottom, open at the top. We're not simply one with God, but we are it itself. It will never stop. SIA, our spiritual center, family and home. It's where we come to practice and remember there is only one life, one mind, one infinite, eternal, self-existent. 'Cause we pause, embodying all that we are. We shine like a glorious star. Our consciousness, our being, open at the bottom, open at the top. We're not simply one with God, but we are it itself. It will never stop. SIA, our spiritual center, family and home. It's where we come to practice and remember there is only one. Spirituality is our way of life. We value laughter, truth, and justice. We express artistry as our living practice. So come and join us at SIA. Know you found a community that will love you every day.
Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message.
SIA is the place to be. So buckle up, we're making history. And if you are willing, repeat after me. I am love. I am love. it right. One more time. I am love. I am victorious. I am divine. Amen. Yes, you are. Amen. Yes, you are. Now today's message begins.
Namaste and greetings, and welcome to August for our second week as we dive more deeply into that which we fear. This week we are talking about having fierce clarity. When we are able to access fear and make fear a compass. I already know what you're going to say. I already know, but come on. Let's go. Come on. It's okay. I got you. Very often we in New Thought avoid speaking about fear because we have been conditioned, we have been told, we have been taught, we have studied, we have learned that fear means we don't trust God. Fear is something that we should be able to remove and can remove. And when we can't or don't, it means we failed. Dr. Holmes says, let us dislodge doubt, fear, and unbelief and trust implicitly in good. Now, that's fine, but it can be misconstrued as though he is saying we should be able to remove it, period, and trust. But what if we explore this idea a little further by looking at fear rather than being something we should avoid? Let's look at it as something we can use. Look at it as a tool. It's a signpost pointing the way to something. What if this fear gives us access to greater clarity, right? Like a keyhole. From here, I look at a keyhole, I can't see anything. I just see the keyhole. But the closer I get and bring my eye to the keyhole, then I can see what's on the other side. What if fear can be likened to that keyhole? Breathe. Fear. What is it? Fear responses are automatic. That's the first thing. They happen. No one gets it. Hold on. Siri, schedule, let's see, Thursday afternoon, 2:30. Put fear on my schedule so that I can be afraid for the afternoon. Confirm. No one plans it. No one sits back and plans when they're going to be afraid or how they're going to be afraid. It's an automatic response. It's part of our evolutionary reaction of how something will trigger the brain's amygdala when it detects a perceived threat. That word is a very important word to keep in mind. Perceived threat. We're going to talk more about it. Keep that in mind. Fear is automatic. It's part of the programming of our brain. It is our natural biology. And it is doing what it's doing because the brain perceives a threat. There are a lot of ways that fear shows up where we may not realize that it's fear because we use other words. We use synonyms such as anxiety. That's fear. Unease, worry. That's fear. The jitters and being in a funk. Agitation. It's fear. And it is an automatic evolutionary response and reaction because your brain perceives a threat. So let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, what might I be afraid of? What kind of things trigger your brain? Lions and spiders and sharks, oh my. What kinds of things, the moment you start to think about them, you can feel, if you're aware, you can feel what that triggering in your brain is causing your body to, my heart rate has increased. I may even start to perspirate. I feel the reaction because my brain, I'm thinking about spiders. My brain doesn't need to see a spider here in front of me. My brain sees a spider when it thinks of a spider, and therefore it perceives the threat of the spider, and it begins to release cortisol and all of those things throughout the body because it's like, there's a spider. It sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. So what does that? Because it could be any number of things. Public speaking, there's anxiety. It triggers, exactly, there's a threat. No, what is the threat? If I get up and I stumble on my speech during a debate, there's a bear that's going to come out or a shark's going to jump out of the audience. And no, that's not. The threat is something related to failure, related to being judged, related to messing up, being perceived as a failure. That's a threat. It threatens the ego. It threatens the self-image. Thought is creative, and we cannot escape that. What he refers to as negative thought also then is creative, projecting forms of limitation and fear, just as positive thought is creative, projecting forms of beauty, liberty, etc. It would seem as though one equaled the other. And while we affirm that negation is equal to affirmation, that evil is equal to good, then so it appears in our experience. Okay. I got you. However, remix. Breathe. All thought is creative and will forever be creative. Non-life affirming thoughts will contribute to the creation of non-life affirming experiences, emotions, feelings, and conditions. Note, I said will contribute to. It doesn't always cause. Conversely, life-affirming thoughts contribute to creating forms of beauty, liberty, love, etc. And while there are certain external circumstances that our thinking will not change, it can, will, and does impact and affect us internally, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. And because of that, we are then able to act in ways that change the external circumstances, such as ending slavery, ending Jim Crow, ending genocide. When the internal, our state of being, it then impacts the external, our way of doing. So, fear. What are some of the signs that we are afraid, that we may not be aware of? Signs we may be in worry and anxiety and hesitation, trepidation, dizziness. Have you ever gotten up to give a speech or speak in public and you feel lightheaded? You feel like your knees are going to buckle? Fear. Heart rate increases, chills, shortness of breath, nausea, all of it. Fear. And when these things occur, generally there are 4 responses that we may fall into as a response. Fight, which mobilizes us to confront the threat. Flight, I need to get up out of here. Freeze, if I don't look, they won't see me. Fawn, let me make friends. If they like me, they won't hurt me. So think about when you are afraid of something or someone, what might your response be? When we look at the things that are currently happening with our current administration, some people want to fight, be that voting, no king protests, etc. Some flight, I'm going to just get up out of the country. Some freeze. It's too much. I'm overwhelmed. I can't. And and others fawn. Well, I mean, maybe they're not so bad. And, maybe we can all just get along. Fear. There have been many acronyms created for fear, and I'm sure many of these you are familiar with, such as forget everything and run. False evidence appearing real. Face everything and rise. Face everything and recover. I'm going to give you a new one. Faithful examination application, and response. When we feel fear and we engage in a faithful examination, application, and response, then we are using and accessing fear not as the enemy, but as a tool that points the way to greater clarity, to more life-affirming ways of being, to a world that works for all. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Yes, fear is natural. It is a powerful emotion caused by the anticipation of, or the awareness of, a present danger. Anticipation. No, we ain't talking about Heinz 57 or the ketchup. Not this one. I'm anticipating danger. And it triggers a response. There may be an awareness of, I know there's a spider in here because I saw it. I don't see it now, but I know it's in here. So when we get the alarm that there is, when we get the warning, danger, danger, there is danger, what do? Well, first, remember I said, faithful examination. First thing we got to examine, is there a real present danger, or is it a perception of danger? Let's take if you saw the movie, now the name of it is dropping out of my mind. It's the movie with, oh, I almost had it. Anyhow, the Revenant, when he gets mauled by the bear. So let's say that real life, you're walking in the woods and boom, there's a bear. It's reality. It's a present danger happening right now. The DC sniper or snipers. Now, if there is an active shooting, okay, shots are fired. That's right now. Versus, I'm at home. I need to go to the grocery store. But I don't know. Is it safe? I'm anticipating the possibility of the what if. But at this present moment, there is no danger. But I'm starting to feel the effects of it in the anticipation of, well, once I go out there, anything could happen. Just like when we think of an active shooter. It's two ways we can look at this. An active shooter drill versus an active shooter. Do we respond to the drill the same way we would respond if it's an active shooting happening now? No. Because we know it's a drill, just like a fire drill. It's a drill. It's an exercise. So we don't feel the same level of anxiety. But if we didn't know, we would respond to an imagined threat as though it's an imminent threat. So the first thing we have to do is examine, apply, respond in an as effective manner as possible. What am I feeling? Check in. Where in my body? Check in. I have to be present. Okay. Regulate, breathe. Now, what's going on? What am I afraid of? What am I worried about? What am I feeling anxious about? Because when we cannot separate these and we get into chronic fear, chronic worry, chronic anxiety, we are damaging our bodies, because that flood of chemicals for fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all of that stuff, it's not supposed to be a constant stream of cortisol, adrenaline. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be swoosh, boom, go, or swoosh, boom, fight. And then once the danger is done, the chemicals, and and we get back to a space where now oxytocin can come back in and we're calm, we can laugh again and be happy again. Until the next saber-toothed tiger jumps out and whoosh, the chemicals come back. But when it's chronic, there's a constant drip of that sometimes surges and sometimes drips and sometimes floods and sometimes drips. But it's chronic and constant. That is not healthy for the body. So what do we got to do about it? Got to understand what the fear, what is it? So that we can better regulate, modulate, whatever we need to do to, what am I afraid of? What's going on? You know what? I know what this is. It's because of how I was raised. I was always raised to be worried about money, worried about where the next check was going to come from, worried about, am I going to have enough for the bills? Money doesn't grow on trees. Do I look like an ATM? I still hear that recording, and I'm still living based upon the messages I received as a 6, 7, 8-year-old growing up with fear of lack and scarcity, because my parents and grandparents grew up during the Depression. So they legitimately had something to be afraid of. They weren't sure where their next meal was coming from, legitimately. I've never gone hungry, but I still feel the generational fear of it. Once I know that, I can do something about it. That's being spiritually responsible. See, we don't often talk about fear and stuff in terms of the spiritual context, the metaphysical context. But when I am better stewarding my emotions, my body, that is spirit. That is the spiritual practice. Because there is no such thing as the separation of divine and human. God is all there is. So your divinity and your humanity are one and the same. By merging mentally and spiritually into the consciousness that there is enough to go around, then we shall overcome the fear of want. And we shall overcome want at the same time, because they are one and the same thing. The thought and the image. Breathe. Remix. And by embodying the truth of consciousness, in other words, the divine, we know there is enough for all. We can then overcome the fear that arises from lack and scarcity. We shall also overcome obscene desire at the same time, because we understand what is enough and that there is no need to hoard. Pause for a brief commercial announcement. What am I talking about? The ultra wealthy, there's a phrase, actually, because I want to quote it exactly. And because this came up on Facebook a while back, so poverty exists not because we can't feed the poor, but because we can't satisfy the rich. Because many rich people are hungry ghosts. The more they consume, the more they want. The more they want, the more they consume. And we know where that goes. So this idea of, I know what is enough. Why do I need a house for Tracy and I that has 42 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms? Ain't nobody living with us. What, am I going to go poop and pee in a different bathroom every day of the week? It's too much. I know what is enough. And because I understand what is enough, it changes the level of, I have no obscene desires, no obscene cravings for more, 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 more. Yeah, I'm good. Which then means I approach life in a different consciousness that then makes sure that other people have what they also need and want in ways that are life affirming. So what spiritual practices can we engage in to help resolve and cope with anxiety? No matter what's causing the anxiety: money issues, exercise, family issues, deep breathing, therapy, experiencing a car accident and then having to drive, journaling, staying active, maybe medications, whatever it may be. It is important to also recognize these are also spiritual practices. Aromatherapy, spiritual practice. Exercise, spiritual practice. Socializing, spiritual practice. Because there is no separation between who and what we are as spirit and what we do as spirit. I'm just giving you a minute because I understand. Believe me, I understand. As someone who has experienced a great deal of trauma throughout my lifetime and have been told that pretty much since my childhood, I have been in a constant state of grieving for the majority of my life. Hypervigilance, anxiety, and all kinds of things. I understand this subject very well. Fear was a motivating factor for so many things in my life. So I understand it. And I understand it even better now today than I had in the past, clearly. So, that being said, confidence in love alone casts out fear. The person without fear is the only truly whole person. It is ours to decide whether we shall live in fear or in faith. Let us decide to live in faith. Let us learn to practice faith until all fear disappears. You know what? I'm gonna stop there. You can come back and read the rest of this. I'm gonna go ahead and remix it now. Breathe. Embodying the conviction and evidence of love, chronic, irrational, and perceived fears are lessened and in some cases dissolved completely. The person actively working through And healing these experiences of fear is the only truly whole person. This person has chosen to live in life-affirming faith versus non-life-affirming faith, in other words, fear. The more we study, integrate, and apply the realization that we are both at the center of pure spirit and our pure spirit centered as us, the more we live from this place of conviction, love, and trust in the midst of doubt, in the midst of chaos, and in the midst of uncertainty, we should consciously know that our thoughts are always those of the divine mind. I'm going to go back for a second. While I greatly understand and appreciate where Holmes is coming from, to say the person without fear is the only truly whole person in our day and age today is not only disingenuous, it's dangerous. Because to imply that there should be no fear is to imply that we should somehow circumvent the brain's natural biological tendency to identify threats and danger. It is the brain, there's a fire. There's those chemicals that give you the ability to get stronger, faster, more flexible, whatever it is that your body needs in that moment to get out. We've heard the stories. In fact, the Incredible Hulk from years ago with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno was based on the idea of David Banner, Bruce Banner, trying to figure out why he couldn't lift the car when other people, when their loved one was in danger, they got the strength to lift the car. That's because the brain signaled, here's the chemicals, and it increased to imply that we should, forget that, is to do away with our natural biology. No. Let us understand it so that we can identify real and present danger, imagined, perceived danger. Right where I am right now, I have absolutely no reason to be afraid of being eaten by a tiger. But what if I was on a safari in Africa and our truck broke down and we had to walk 2 miles to get to the closest village, and there are tigers all over the place? Well, I can feel them crawling in the grass. I'm feeling a little bit afraid because I know that's different. But now, to imagine that, no. So the truly whole person is the one who can identify, recognize, and works through in life-affirming ways. Because that person understands holistically, body, mind, spirit, emotions, all of it is oneness, all of it is God, all of it is divine. A very different experience. Breathe, and let's talk about resilience for a moment. What is resilience to you? For some, resilience is demonstrated by the plant that breaks up through the concrete or the asphalt. Resilience is Sisyphus, maintaining and rolling that boulder up no matter the curse. For some, it's embodied in maybe Mamie Till Mobley, the mother of Emmett Till. But even resilience, after a certain amount of time, is no longer healthy. What do I mean by that? Fear can create competence. Fear can make you hyper aware. Fear can make you responsible. Fear can make you independent. Fear can make you incredibly capable. I noticed the host use the word resilient. Resilience runs out. Resilience is not an unlimited resource. And when Black people are constantly framed as resilient, we can end up normalizing the conditions that require resilience in the first place. And for Black women especially, resilience comes at a cost. It comes at the cost of rest, the cost of vulnerability or support, and sometimes even our health. I want us to celebrate resilience without expecting people to survive things they should never have had to endure in the first place. Do you get what Dr. Martin, Raquel Martin, is referring to? Resilience to a certain degree? Yes. Resilience, think of it this way. Someone cuts you. Assuming that your body is operating perfectly, when that cut happens, you get stitches. What does the body do? Creates a scab, knits the skin and the cells and all stuff back together. Boom, there's a scar. That scar is a demonstration of your body's ability to bounce back, your body's ability to be resilient. Now, suppose there's the cut, and then 3 weeks later, I get cut again, and it heals. And then 3 months later, cut again, and it heals, and it heals, and it heals, and it heals. Just because it heals doesn't mean I want to keep getting cut. Follow where we're going. How do I end the thing that is consistently cutting me? Whatever it is, racism, capitalism, whatever it is, homomisia, whatever it is, how do I stop so that my body can be fine? Yes, there's a scar, but I don't need to keep reopening it and creating a new scar on top of the scar, on top of the scar, on top of the scar. And even if it's not in the same place, okay, fine, there's a scar there, there's a scar there, there's a scar there, there's a scar there. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. For those of you who are familiar with Star Wars, there's the time when Luke was on Dagobah being trained by Yoda, and Yoda took him to a specific cave that was strong with the dark side. And Luke had to go in, and Luke was like, I ain't afraid. And Yoda was like, you will be. And so Luke goes in, and Luke is squaring off against Darth Vader until he realizes after he cuts Darth Vader's head off that it's him. It's his head in the, wait, so he was fighting himself. He was his own greatest enemy. And when he learned how to bring balance to himself, restore his own, regulate his own understanding of the Force, that's the precise thing that then gave him the ability to confront Vader in real life later and see good in him and help Vader come back to being Anakin. Om Tat Sat. I am that which is all. So this cave we fear to enter, we fear it because it's the unknown. But it's not just unknown questions. What's in there? How far does it go? Is there anything dangerous? That makes sense. Ask the questions, but also understand that within there are also unknown answers. Remember that keyhole? Are we willing to go into the unknown, to ask more effective questions based upon the desired answers? I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but rather the triumph over it. The brave person is not the one who does not feel afraid. The brave person is the one who feels afraid and does what is theirs to do anyway. Do you feel it and do what is yours to do anyway? Many of us are scared about something in life. There is a situational consciousness that has adverse responses, experiences, and decisions that we make. Situational consciousness, meaning our beliefs and stuff change based upon the weather. What's today? It's dark outside. It's a bad day. It's gloomy and doomy. That's what the weatherman said. That's what I believe too. Situational. Can you not find joy even though it's dark and cloudy? No, because it's dark and cloudy. And weatherman said, it's not a happy day. So the situational consciousness that it's not grounded in principle, it's anchored and grounded and rooted in precedent, the stuff that changes, it's going to have an adverse response, experiences, and decisions made by the person who is feeling it. Whereas if we simply flip the C and the A, we can recognize that being scared can become being sacred. And when it is sacred, we are stewarding awareness consciously, and we are realizing emancipation daily. We are setting ourselves free moment by moment, breath by breath, every day. Free from that nonsense and that nonsense. Free to be who and what we truly are. And it's a choice. There are a great many stories that are told, mythological stories, including the one about the great serpent that tried to devour the sun in the Egyptian pantheon, and Ra and the other gods and whatnot. They're like, nope, Mr. Snake, no, you can't do this. Go somewhere, be gone. But it's a demonstration that there are things. It's a metaphysical representation of how things in life sometimes show up to swallow our goodness and darken the sky and all the stuff. But we have access to tools. We need not be afraid. We have the tools to face it, to move forward, and to live more effectively, individually and collectively. But we have to find out what we are afraid of and then go there. Go live there. Go to the place where we are afraid. Understand it. Because 99, if not 100%, 99% of the time, by understanding it, we are able to dissolve it. Or we are able to utilize it without needing to fight against it. To actively embody and engage the Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0, is to live in the presence of what we feel. Feel fear to whatever degree. Live in its presence and communicate with it so that the answers to our healing come to us, come through us. It's like Jacob wrestling with the angel until the angel blessed him. We can wrestle with the questions about our fear so that we can then discern between the real and the imagined, and then act accordingly to restore, to recalibrate, to regulate our parasympathetic nerve system so that we can then thrive. Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 is the lamp. It is the compass. And it is the map that helps us to enter the cave of the unknown and thereby find the treasures within. This is the path of our individual and collective liberation. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first. And if it resonates with you, I invite you to repeat it with me the second time. I face fear with fierce clarity and an unwavering presence like Ra and Set. The Egyptian myth, that Ra and Set. Together, I face fear with fierce clarity and an unwavering presence like Ra and Set. And so it is. This week's Thursday night study group questions, or your own personal journal questions. Number 1, what scares me that is real, and what scares me that is perceived? Number 2, how does fear show up for me? Does it show up as worry, anxiety, paranoia, panic? What are some of my tools for addressing any form of fear? Number 4, when have I faced a fear and come out the other side changed for the better? Number 5, what is the current cave that I fear to enter? Number 6, when have I bypassed fear because I thought it was wrong for me to feel fear? And lastly, how might I move from feeling scared to sacred? And to further our practice, as always, find someone to have a conversation with. And this week, have a conversation about a recent thing that triggered fear and what you did to regulate and restore balance. Breathe as we close, as we always do, with prayer, in order to facilitate that which is going to create a world that works for all. So we simply breathe and allow our mind and our body, our emotions and feelings to simply be present. Knowing that at any moment we could do, just as people do a fire drill, an active shooter drill, when I was in elementary school, we used to do tornado drills and things. At any moment, we can do a drill, a practice that brings the thing that we fear right in front of us. And we address it in the same way that Luke addressed his fear by entering the cave. We address it. We look it square in the face. We invite it down to have tea and crumpets or whatever it is in order to understand it, not to shoo it away, but to understand it. Why are you here? What did you come here to bring me? What did you come here to let me know? What are you pointing the way towards? So we breathe. Because fear is not the enemy, fear is an invitation. And so we allow its invitation to afford us great, fierce clarity. Even when it's uncomfortable, it still grants a gift when we allow it to do so. Even the real fear of running from a saber-toothed tiger or a lion, tiger, and bear. The gift is my body is being flooded with chemicals so that I can either fight or run. It's a gift. I'm not going to poo-poo it away. I receive it and I act accordingly. And just as I do that, the law does the same thing. The law receives the word, the emotions, the energy, the feelings. It receives the entire mental equivalent, and it acts accordingly. Every breath, every word, every sentence, all of it is the manner in which we pray. All of it is our amen. All of it is our, and so it is. So in this moment, we choose consciously and actively what is our prayer. To what are we saying amen to? And with fierce clarity, we apply it. A world that works for all, fierce clarity, and so it is. Greater peace and harmony, fierce clarity, and so it is. Greater health and well-being, fierce clarity. Whatever it is, fierce clarity, and then declare. And so it is. Breathe. And so it is. As always, much love, appreciation, blessings, all that good stuff. Have a great and amazing week, and either see you during the week or see you next Sunday. And for those of you who aren't aware, keep in mind, Vegas, New Thought in the Desert, September. You still have time. Come on. Love and appreciate you. See you soon.
Today's message is complete, something to believe, a seed of truth that we can practice if we choose to receive. As we take the science of mind and spirit for corridor to every corner of the world where the healing needs to go. We know it's not a secret, kept locked behind a door. It's the wisdom that we're living, and love is what we share it for. Now step into the world, be a healing, hopeful beacon. You're walking the path and offering to all who may be seeking. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so we have principles, practices, and promises we're all going to keep. Oh, oh, oh. Dedication to liberation is the key we hold. A story of freedom that's waiting to be told. Right where you are is holy ground. Feel into your rhythm and the sacred sound. You're an incarnation of the divine. You're holy, powerful, and good. And you are called to be that in the world and do what only you could. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep, we have principles, practices, and promises we're all gonna keep. Be the change that you want to see. Unlock the chains and set all life free. From the heart of the city to the jungles and open plains, breaking the cycles of oppression and its heavy chains. It's a revolution of the body, the mind, and the soul. Mending, making, and manifesting the broken parts now finally whole. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep, we have principles, practices, and promises we're all gonna keep. Right where you are sacred. Right where you are, shining so bright. Right where you are, the divine is expressing. Right where you are, life. So live it every day. Make the vision now come sing. In divine is not far off watching. It is incarnating itself as you. Have an amazing week and know that you are loved.